Okay, what is going on YouTube? I drove 7 hours today, but I still want to do a couple of live streams. Let's get all that out of your way. Switch over to best ball. It was a long and shitty drive today. Okay, making sure that's all set up. Good deal. Okay, gonna rip a couple puppies like the usual. Have our big free Tendies League cluster coming up this weekend. Should be really fun. Pick 11 every time. Obviously, the big news is the Josh Jacobs suspension that's looming. Nothing's dropped quite yet. Um, I don't even know if we've gotten word. I mean, surely we will. Surely we will in the morning have the insiders doing their rounds. Let's see if anything else has dropped since charges were filed. Yeah, people speculating Josh will be released. I don't know. I don't think so. Let's see how much. Shout out to Indecent Exposure. Let's see how much Josh Jacobs exposure I have. 20%. That is robust. We have such an obscene amount of James Cook at this point. Probably diversify off it a little bit. Go with a Saquon Barkley there. Okay, Saquon Barkley start. Happy to do it. I'm kind of happy that O'Marion Hampton's ADP has been precipitously falling. It's a click I'm going to keep making. I think the Mike McDaniel comments about him this week were extremely bullish. Probably not getting the upgraded O line we thought we would get, but that's all right. Cook, Chase Brown's an awesome start too. It would be one of my favorites. I would totally take Jonathan Taylor Henry too. Hopefully, man. Hopefully, in the free Tendies leagues, I am picking in that back third or the first two. Those are the easiest spots by far. It's not enough of a discount on Ashton Genty. Not when the dude's posting like Bible verses online. Brees Hall up at 24. It has to be because they saw Sal Vetri do it. Devonta Smith over Rice. I think that's where I'm leaning there. Devonta Smith over Rice. For now. Rice still doesn't look healthy to me. He's on everyone's fade list. I don't know about that, but he is on everyone's fade list. Let's see. Did any new Rashi Rice footage drop today? Keep waiting for like him to just look like himself, and we're not seeing it. Oh god, Rashi Rice looks like that one Drewski meme. Yeah, a little bit. Are you willing to dip your toes in the shark-infested waters that surround Rashi Rice? Oh my god, man. Just getting demolished. So you guys really couldn't separate last year either, yeah. Wide receiver 5 in point per game. There was a Rashi Rice video, no suspension until the case resolved 16 months later. That seems quite relevant here. We will go Jeremiah Love RB3 if he comes back all the way to the turn. He's still there on the board. That's wild. Probably go Jalen Waddle here because we don't get enough of him, but we do get Jeremiah Love coming back. I will for sure do a Jeremiah Love RB3 build. Parker Washington, 21%. Absolutely glorious. Cannot wait to start to build the redraft position on Parker Washington. Ted is going to roast me very, very hard for that this year. That's okay. That's the way it goes. Okay, so nothing else about Rashi. No word that like he's gonna be back at practice. You haven't been drafting Rashi Rice high enough. Targets per game versus yak per reception. Yeah, I mean, my thing with Rashi Rice is he's always been the intermediate attacker for Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, and that's been an incredibly valuable thing, right? That's where Kelsey, made his hay. Crazy how fluid he is compared to Rashi Rice after their surgeries. Interesting. Oh, there's Alec Pierce going. Okay, so we got Alec Pierce going. That's good. I've been drafting Alec Pierce all summer as if he's gonna play week 1. He kind of got cheap enough where like I just kept taking him. That's really good. I have a lot of these rosters, these three running back rosters with usually Josh Jacobs on the back there. I have a ton of those with Alec Pierce. He looks better than Rashi Rice does. Oh, whoops. Did that just play audio through here? Oh, man. Wait. Am I still on? Is it still my... Okay, it's still my thing in there. Okay, we're good. Just pulled up OBS to check. Whoops. Studio. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, we don't want sound. That's good, though. He looks good to me. Okay, making sure my mic is still good. Yeah, my mic's still good. Okay, very exciting about Alec Pierce. I mean, I'm trying to figure out Rashi Rice stuff, but that's again, I just kind of didn't stop drafting him in the 8th round mostly. I mean, I did chill lately, but like all this summer, again, especially in these 3 running back start builds, I end up with a lot of Pierce. We'll reach up and take Pierce at the 7-8 turn if he's there again. I'm happy to do that in best ball. I love his profile for best ball, and I still think the way that they paid him, they have to work him in at in a more diverse manner this year. That's good. I'm excited to see him going. Carnell Tate went off in practice today after Wan'Dale Robinson went down. We'll look for an update on Wan'Dale Robinson after this turn. Sort of interesting because I've been very bullish on Wan'Dale Robinson all summer. Been drafting a lot of Wan'Dale, and I was planning to go after him pretty aggressively in redraft too. because I think he'll be the leading receiver there this year. But he apparently went down. Oh, nice. We get a late Christian Watson. That is such a banger. He apparently such a banger on this roster. Oh, let's go. He had to be helped off the field, which isn't great. But after he was helped off the field, Carnell Tate had like 7 catches. He went off. So you can take from that either way, right? Does that prove or disprove the idea that Wan'Dale Robinson is going to be the number 1 target there this year? If you remove Wan'Dale Robinson and Carnell Tate, oh God, I've been fading Carnell Tate so hard. I think I just like Marvin Harrison Jr. the most out of those 3, out of Brian Thomas Jr., Carnell Tate. Okay, that's the start. Emeka Egbuka, Christian Watson, MHJ, Jeremiah Love, Hampton, Barkley. Probably can throw on a Jacoby Brissett late when you have the 2 Arizona Cardinals. I actually wouldn't have done that if I had thought about it. Yeah, so nothing else about Rashi. It doesn't look like. I wonder why his ADP slipping a little bit. Got you up on the big TV. Guy, did you do the Jacobs talk yet? Not really. I didn't really go into Jake. Oh, that's awesome. I'm on your TV. Hey, that's cool. You know what's funny, dude? I was laughing. I was looking at the episode where we did the mock drafts. And it got like, whatever, like 30 views or something, which is pretty good for one of our live streams. It's like our second biggest live stream this summer. The biggest ones I think got 75, 80 because I shared it around a bunch. It was the one where your mom came in to say hi. So I was like laughing, going, all right, Ted's mom brings in views, man. She's apparently got gravity. No, I did not talk about Josh Jacobs yet. I was looking at Rashee Rice because I noticed that he made a bunch of people's bust list today. I was curious if something specific happened with Rashee or not. It doesn't really look like it. I found this clip, though, that's pretty cool of, dude, Pierce looks good. This is Pierce out there cutting. He's running. He's sticking off. It was the custom thumbnail. Oh, there you go. Pierce looks good to me, though. That I'm excited about. Like, I don't know. I know you've been drafting him a lot lately. I was just drafting Pierce all summer at the 7-8 turn like he was going to play week 1 because they said he was. Now, you never know them saying he does, but that's really exciting. So, yes, I need to hit the Josh Jacobs thing, but I do want to actually see, is there more Alec Pierce stuff? Because this is an interesting one. If he stays at round 9 for redraft, I don't really like this style of player in redraft. But okay, not going at 100%, but good to see him pushing. Needs to get into football shape, and we'll have some compensation concerns moving forward, but better than I expected here. Okay, so ahead of timeline. Running routes for the first time since Nickel. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I think his price has really dipped down. Again, I wouldn't say it's like a my guy or anything, but in these builds where I open up three running back to be able to swing back around and get Alec Pierce. Now, see, he's all the way down here. I might throw him in. I might throw him in if I can do him and Jaden Reed. I'd be pretty excited about that. I never was drafting Josh Downs. I was just fading. I faded Josh Downs all summer pretty happily. Do we have any stacks here? If I had gone Ladd McConkey, I would totally rip Justin Herbert here. Jalen Hurts, that's super late for Jalen Hurts. We will do Jalen Hurts if he falls. Oh, come on. Give me a 7-8 turn Jalen Hurts, which, by the way, I think you're going to see in redraft. Okay, we don't get it. I don't click him a lot. Let's do Jordan Addison. I like Michael Wilson better, but I have Marvin Harrison Jr. And then we'll do Alec Pierce here too, since we're talking about him and we're all excited. And I'm not going to take running back for a while. Okay, so the Josh Jacobs talk. How am I going to handle Josh Jacobs here as we get into? I have 7 drives. We have 7 drives. The free Tendies leagues have 7 drives. One of which is the one with me and Ted in there. Very sharp league too. League 7. League 7 has Ted. It has 5 champions in that league. It's got League 7 is very, very hard. It's a very sharp league. Last year it got a little top heavy because there was 6 really good guys and 3 or 4 bums. Who have since been removed. Actually, all the bad players got removed. So we have that draft this weekend. What am I going to do with Josh Jacobs? Because that is going to be the big question. What happens with Josh Jacobs here? I didn't even see where he went. I've been so busy scrolling through the Twitter streets here. Where did he go in this one? I'm going to guess that in most of your leagues, with the panic that's going on, so he goes at pick 42. I don't know if that's a best ball thing or... because that's about where he's been going. Maybe best ball doesn't care as much. I am treating it like he could get 6 games because that is technically the domestic violence number. The thing with the 6 games, though, is that's a domestic violence. He was not charged with domestic violence. He was charged with destruction of property and disorderly conduct, is my understanding. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the prosecutor saw the video. right? So if I understood this correctly, he saw the video. Go pull up the article. This one, right, for the legal advice, Drew Davenport, because he's like the legal guy. So battery and criminal damage to public. So contrary to will, yeah. So he had a misdemeanor battery. Battery is like shoving someone. It's an assault if he punched her, if he kicked her, right? That's an assault. Like so, he shoved a woman. Not good. You shouldn't do that. But he shoved a woman and smashed her phone on the ground. Um, so I'm the way I'm figuring that is we're looking at most 6 games. I wouldn't be surprised to see 2 to 4 games. I wouldn't be surprised to see them say that they're waiting for it to go through the legal system. Jacobs has said he respects the process. He's willing to let the process unfold here. And God, I hate when this thing gets off. No, don't pull up my stupid spending history on the drive down here. Um, Jacobs has said he respects the legal process and he's going to let the legal process play out. That makes me think that he is not going to settle and he's not going to plead guilty. That guy seems to think he's less likely to get suspended. Yeah, yeah. So that's my thinking with that, right? Again, I don't know, but my thinking there is like I don't. This is complete armchair shit. I do not understand the legal process on this level at all. I have family who are lawyers, but I am not involved in that in any way whatsoever. My understanding is if a prosecutor saw the video and it went from 3 felonies to 2 misdemeanors, and dude, the initial felonies were crazy. The initial felonies were like felony strangulation. And like so he grabbed her by the neck and held her down by her neck and threatened her life. Like if the prosecutor saw the video and went from felony strangulation to 2 misdemeanors, it would lead me to believe the video's not that bad. Um, presumably it would be acted upon if it were. So I would guess that even if the NFL were to get the video, it's not going to be treated as this watershed moment. Um, so because of that, right, I am going to watch the drafts this week in the free tendies leagues. If he drops to the 4 or 5 turn or to the 5th round or to the 5 6 turn, I think you have to take Josh Jacobs. I think you have to. And even then, like, I think he's going to be readily available in the 4th round. And like when I do my double hero starts, it's going to be pretty tempting if he's sitting there at like pick 40, pick 42 in redraft to not take him and go with it. Um, it's just weird because it's not like an injury. It's not like the Rashi Rice suspension where we understood what was coming. We're not going to know about this, and it could go either way pretty easily here. Um, the charges were not filed as domestic violence charges. Yeah. So it's significant to how the NFL views the case because they were not a domestic violence charge. The personal conduct policy has a specific provision for the exempt list when crimes of violence are involved. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. Does that seem like a crime of violence to shove someone? I guess in the very technical sense, and I certainly would never do that, right? I would never put my hands on a woman, but it's not like punching her. It's not like strangling her. I don't know. I'm gonna guess 2 to 4 games. If I had to guess, I guess 2 to 4 games. And we just saw this last year with Rashi Rice, right? We just saw the whole issue with this. Fantasy managers will overweight the beginning of the season. They will look at it and say, well, gosh, I'm going to miss 4 to 6 games from this guy. How will I ever survive? And that is the completely wrong way to look at it. So, like, people that are taking Jadarian Price in the 5th round now, Jadarian Price has slid all the way up to the 5th round. He's going with next to Baishal Tootin, next to Bucky, next to Quinshon Judkins, right, in that range of running back there. Um, and, like, think about how fortunate you would be when you make that pick to get 11 weeks of running back one production out of Jadarian Price. I wouldn't call that wrong necessarily. Well, here's my argument, right? Think about how fortunate you would be if you take round 5 Jadarian Price. If you get 11 weeks of top 12 expected fantasy points, let's not even say fantasy points, XFP, so like red zone usage, passing game work, carries per game. If he were to get 11 weeks of that, you would consider that a smash pick. I would consider that a smash pick. If you told me right now that Jadarian Price would give you 11 weeks of expected fantasy RB1 production this year, I think he should be going at like the late 4th round, right? So even if, let's say we assume the worst, and I really do think the worst case here is 6 games. I think that is like the absolute nuclear option that the NFL could pull out. We need a tight end. I don't take Isaiah Likely a lot because he can't block. I think he's going to come off the field a little bit. But Theo Johnson got hurt this week, so that makes him a lot more interesting to me. Um, I feel really good about this roster overall. That's usually when I'll pull down a. Hmm. What Ted's hanging out. We'll do a Ted pick. We'll do a Woody Marks there. Get a little volume going in here for Jeremiah Love if he misses time. Um, so my point is though about overweighting missing those 6 weeks. Like I think when people think about it in that perspective, and like that is why I went so all in on Rashi Rice when he was suspended. It was like, look, I figured worst case scenario, I'm going to get 8 to 10 weeks of wide receiver one production, and he was the wide receiver two on the year in points per game. It propelled me to the playoffs. It defined my season going in on Rashi Rice like that, because all of a sudden, so what I did was I had a bunch of lineups that I basically just got to somewhere above 500, somewhere around 500. I was floating at like the back end of the playoff range, some in the front end, but some in the back end, whatever. I had a lot of O'Marion Hampton and Lamar Jackson rosters, so I struggled a little bit early in the year last year. When I plugged in Rashi Rice, there were rosters that just like shot straight up to the top of the rankings brackets and just stayed there. And like a first round bye obviously is so big with fantasy being random. It actually, I had a couple teams that shit the bed in week 15 that would have died if they didn't get that first round bye, in large part because of what Rashi Rice did, right? And he was going at the 6-7 turn in Yahoo. All of my Rashi Rice shares were in the 7th round last year, and I believe I ended up with 8 out of 12 rosters with him. So that's how I'm going to play Josh Jacobs. If the league wants to draft scared tomorrow, and luckily they're not all piled in here watching this, right? So I'm not. I don't think I'm selling myself out here. If they want to play it tomorrow, where they all go, oh gosh, man, that's 6 weeks. How would I cannot pay a round 5-6 price tag for 11 weeks of RB1 production. I'm gonna shark that. I am gonna load up on Josh Jacobs if his ADP falls. We'll see. I don't think it will. That would be like 20 spots or 18 spots past where it's currently at. But I'm waiting. I'm sitting there and wait. The whole we play for weeks 15, 17 is more important for best ball. In managed leagues, you can easily draft starters and move them. Yeah. I actually had a comment on that on Twitter this week. I get embarrassed when you feel like you're tweeting into the void because I don't have like a big account. I have like a few hundred followers, and so it's not like I'm sitting there getting all this action on my post. But I actually did respond to a guy that was talking about that, and to Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald as having the 3 best starters in franchise history. That is the best starter trio in franchise history, by the way. Some debate about Nico Collins. Where was it? Can I really not find it? I don't tweet that much, dude. Here. Yeah, so to Ted's point, right? I feel like too many mantras in fantasy are geared toward a 20-team redraft portfolio or hundreds of large field best buys. This is about not handcuffing your running back. This guy said you never ever handcuff your own backs. And I'm like, dude, you never ever handcuff your own backs. Really? You never handcuff your own backs. So like if you have Saquon Barkley in round 1 and you can get round 11 Tank Bigsby, you never do that. I think that's absolute horseshit. I think you should absolutely, if you can. Okay, so Jalen McMillan got hurt this week, but we'll take him with Baker Mayfield. He got helped off the field by trainers, I think. I'll have to look into that, but he did, I believe, get nicked up. Jalen Naylor had a sick one-handed grab, did his best Odell impression today in the preseason. I continue to believe that Jalen Naylor will be the Raiders' leading receiver this year. Not because of one play in the preseason. I've been drafting him like that all summer. Okay, we're light on tight end, but we're nicely recovered from our triple running back start here. So to Ted's point, right, do you need to always play for the playoffs in these leagues that are $50 to $100 buy-in 12 manager leagues? No, and I think too much fantasy content in general is too focused on that, and that's actually a big critique I have. That's what I said on here, and a lot of people clearly agreed. 15,000 views, man, that's a lot. So it's not that I think that, dude. To me, it's more simple. It's just like if you told me Josh Jacobs would get 11 weeks of running back one expected fantasy points per game, and you can get that in the 5th round, I think you should do that every time you can. I really do. I just because what do you trade? So let's say you go back in like round 8 or 9 and you get Jordan Mason, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, Kenny Gainwell, Rashad White, like one of those guys that I like back there. Maybe you like other different guys back there, but whoever you go and get back there. So you have to start like a low end RB3 for 6 weeks. Does that sink your season? I maybe. I don't really think so though. I don't really mind starting like a slightly shittier flex or running back too for 6 weeks. So that's how I'm going to play it this weekend. We'll see what people do. I'm very curious what happens with Jeremiah Love. That's going to be another big decision point for me, right? Because I have not drafted any redraft yet, and I'm going to go against guys like there's a few. Um, it's on my Safari. I can't pull it up here. I believe Doobie, who is a diamond level Yahoo manager, which means he's the 99th percentile of Yahoo managers. Very serious rivalry I have going in the free tendies leagues. Believe I'm drafting against him twice this weekend, and he's like 10 or 15 redraft teams deep. So I'm a little bit nervous about that because he's a well-oiled machine. I don't believe Ted has had any of his redraft drafts yet. I think Javon, who's in a few of these, has. So it's like I'm certainly a little nervous about that. I am so Jeremiah Love. Does he fall back to the 3-4 turn, and do I end up building this sort of start and redraft? Like I might if I'm able to. We will see. Gen 4 starters are better than the Gen 3 starters. Stop the cap. It's just not how I feel about that. I mean, what are we talking about? Like Swampert versus Empoleon? It's a ridiculous thing to think. That's a ridiculous stance to take. Torterra versus Sceptile, it's also an L. Infernape's cooler than Blaziken. Okay, so we do need a tight end here. I need to remember never to touch this. Yeah, Empoleon is so much better. No, that's a horrible take. I don't want to reach this high on AJ Barner. We're probably just not doing a tight end right here. No, no. But yeah, Jeremiah Love will be a big one. A Mekik Buka, I assume, is going to be like a mid fourth round pick in there. Okay, we'll just take AJ Barner. I feel like this is way too high for AJ Barner. What pick is this? What is going on? Did I mess something up? Pick 179. Why is it showing me at 155? Oh, okay, that's cool then. We're good. You know what I'll do is I'll take Fernando Mendoza on this thing. Throw in a little Fernando Mendoza, Jalen Naylor stack at the end here. But yeah, I'm trying to think of like, so again, 7 drafts this weekend. What do I think the most controversial picks are going to be? Oh, we got to see what happened with Wandale. For me, that matters. I don't think for most people that's that big of a thing. I actually view Wandale Robinson as like kind of a late round skeleton key pick, where like in your double flex leagues and your full PPR, I think he could end up being a whole lot more productive than people think. Xavier Woods had a dirty hit on Wandale during joint practice. Oh God, it was a Texans dude knocked him out. Oh, the Bears. I mean, um, oh no. See, look at that. Fantasy football's top 24 wide receivers by PPR points per game in their Yahoo ADP. Look at this list that Wandale Robinson is casually in the middle of. Wide receiver 63. I don't know, man. That's a big one for me. Did they say though? So, oh, concussion. Okay, concussion. Okay, not good news for Wandale, but good news for his week 1 availability. Yeah. Okay, so he's going to be out there. Flags everywhere. Every Titans player runs to jump. Absolute chaos. Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. I'm glad he's okay. But yeah, I'm trying. I mean, who else? Who else are the weird ones? Jeremiah Love. Let's just work backwards in ADP. I think Justin Jefferson has the capacity to slip far more in drafts in home leagues than usual. So I'm curious, like, do we see mid round two Justin Jefferson, which is where I'll be interested? Like if I start with a James Cook at pick 7, does Justin Jefferson wrap around to me? Then I think you do take a long hard look at it there, right? Brees Hall. It seems like Brees Hall might be a 3-4 turn pick on Yahoo. That's crazy. If that happens, that's really good. Garrett Wilson, I noticed, is sliding back to the 4 or 5 turn on Yahoo. That does not seem appropriately priced. So that one's going to be a little weird. After I make this pick, I'll pull up the board and see. I've got to remember to not touch this thing, dude. That is so annoying when it doesn't slide with the picks. It's like it does not help me track the shit. Come on, give us a late Braylon Allen. I'm so worried I'm going to end up with Jefferson shares. Yeah, so, well, but dude, that's like a real decision point for me. For me, it's the only two running backs at this point in the top 2 rounds that I would think about Jefferson over are going to be Kenneth Walker the third and Genty. So if it's Kenneth Walker the third, Genty, and Jefferson, at that point I'm going to end up with Jefferson shares. Am I going to be happy about that? I don't think so. Apparently, Isaiah Pacheco picked up a back injury today. So on top of the ACL. Ken Walker, totally fine. BT. Yeah, well, remember, I just don't like Kenneth Walker this year. Like, that was a big fade for me. And even if he's totally fine, it's just like him picking up even a little injury. Yeah, swollen from his cleat. No, it's not because of the injury. It's just that he picked up a little injury already. And that. Ugh. Okay, so Braylon Allen, running back 5 in this room, is fantastic. So we have Woody Marks for a little float in case Jeremiah Love's slow to get going. O'Marion Hampton, Saquon, Woody Marks, Braylon Allen, absolutely awesome. Bigger quarterback room. Normally I'd be happy with just Love and Mayfield. I'm happy to throw on a Mendoza stack there at the end. It wasn't an injury though. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't an injury. It was just swelling. I just don't like it. I think this dude's oh god, Charlie Kolar did pretty well by the way. He got the most of the run at tight end this week. I think Charlie Kolar is the starting there. At least if I'm understanding it correctly. I'm going to take Gadsden. I think Gadsden will still have some spike weeks. He's down here in the 200s, like your second to last pick. I'll take Gadsden. What is that? Yeah, 10, 18. Okay, that's 18. I'm done. Gadsden last round. You are understanding that correctly, dude. He did not get an injury. He had foot swelling. They freaked out and just benched him just to be safe. And again, dude, to me, it's just that like Walker was already a guy that I was not enthusiastically drafting. And so even that little crop up sort of made it a lot weird. Charlie Kolar. Yeah, dude, I think Charlie Kolar is the starting tight end there. Excuse the loud swallowing. I was in a 100-degree car for 7 hours today. A landslide shut down Highway 101 on my way back from Arcata, California. I had to turn around in the middle of a 5-hour drive, an hour in, cut across 36 for 140 miles, and then go down I-5 next to Red Bluff. I actually drove through Chico. Dead. Absolutely torturous, dude. My car's AC, like it has a short circuit or something in it, so the AC wasn't working. 100 to like 103. 7 hours. Okay, pick three. Do we fade Jamar Chase with the injury concerns? Take another James Cook share up here. This is right when the salmon are running. Yeah, I don't know. They shut down the ocean salmon season. I don't know what the freshwater salmon. The ocean season was wild because it had been shut down for years. The ocean went nuts. There's bluefin tuna in the Bay Area too. I'm thinking of trying to go on a trip while I'm down here. I just don't know if I want to spend the money on it. It's for me, it's like I have some extra spending, discretionary spending, and it probably makes more sense to drop the $500 on the 24-hour gym membership for the year than it does bluefin tuna. But let's see, are the Sacramento salmon still open? July 16th and runs through December 16th. Okay, so they shut down the ocean season. They kept the freshwater season open. And yeah, and 30th anniversary Pokemon stuff. Yeah, that's a big spending week. There's a whole thing in the city going on. I actually have a guy. That lot I was trying to sell, Ted. The It had gone all the way up to like $6,000 at its peak, $6,100. And a guy was going to give me 75% for it because he was taking it all at once. And that's sort of how it works. And 75% is actually higher than industry standard. I wanted 80%, but he was going to give me 75% for it. So three-quarters of the price for it, $4,500. That was when it was worth 6,100. I just had a guy now because of the Pokemon's cratered, it's all the way down to $4,900 on market value. And I just had a guy hit me up and say he'll give me 4,500 for it, or maybe it's down to $5,400 in market value. So a guy said he'll give me, so it's down $700, right? So and a guy said he's going to drive down to the Bay Area this week and give me 4,500 for it, which isn't bad. I get the 4,500 I was going to get when it was at its peak price, and I get it at a way worse time. So I'm probably going to move that lot about 10% of what I'm holding in Pokemon, not even 10% of what I'm holding in, but about like 7-8% of my total holds. I'm going to liquidate that, and that's all going into the 30th. Probably all UPCs and ETBs and no discounts. Dude, it's no discount. It's for him taking $5,400 of product at once. I'll take 80% on that. Dude, that's not even a Diamond Hands thing, though, because it's going back into the 30th product. So it's not like it's about the opportunity cost of not getting cheap 30th product while we can. And I'm 9 picks away. Wait. Oh, it didn't. Weird. It kept him in my queue. Okay. That's just about turning over though into, like, to me it's way more expensive to not get your hands on $4,500 of 30th anniversary stuff. That's all it is. So yeah, like I could hold out till it rebounds $700 and make an extra $100 or $200, or I could just dump that all into MSRP 30th anniversary stuff and make, like, probably make a $4,000 to $5,000 profit in a month. That's what I'm gonna do instead. And then at some point go buy a stupid Honda Civic. This would be interesting if Ashton Genty falls this far. So that's another one. Where are you finding 30th at MSRP? I've gotten. I don't even know how much 30th I've gotten at MSRP. I've gotten a good amount of it so far. I think I've gotten $500 to $1,000 worth at MSRP from the drops that have happened so far. I'll go pay the 100 to GameStop. Yeah, that's fine too, dude. I think it's the greatest set ever made. God, anyone that's stopping by who's not a Pokemon guy's like, what did he? This is what they talk about on stream. Yes, we occasionally do rip on Pokemon investing on stream, and everyone should be doing it. It's very fun, and opening cards are fucking awesome too. I'm not even gonna pretend like it's just a financial thing for me. I have a great time. I think I've hit. Yeah, maybe not, right? Because I guess I didn't hit the mini tin display. Maybe I'm like double counting. Okay, we're gonna do a Brock Bowers here. I never do Brock Bowers. The 2 bundles I've had, I think I've hit 7 bundles total. I got a couple of the Target ones, I thought. Maybe I'm double counting, dude. Or maybe I'm using market price and I've added 500 to 1,000 worth of my portfolio. I guess I can't pull up collector. Can I log into collector from here? Wait, what you hit on target? Didn't we sit down that one night and rip a bunch of the Target MSRP stuff? Am I completely making up hitting there? Or am I giving myself credit for the Pokemon Center hit thinking I hit on target? I know I have at least here. I'm just going to pull up my collector. I think what I'm doing is I'm using the market price of the product and saying, well, I'm holding $1,000 of anniversary stuff, which is not, okay, we're going to go Devonta Smith here. Devonta Smith, Brock Bowers, Jamar Chase start. Hold on. Checking my portfolio now. I think it's market price because you got the Pokemon Center TVs. Yeah, I think that's what I'm doing. I think I'm saying that I have $1,000 of 30th anniversary stuff, but I hit like 300 or 400 at MSRP. Yeah, so I have $1,300 of market product it was just the 2 ETBs and the 3 bundles. That's what it is. I was not trying to bullshit. I just remembered that I did pretty well in terms of the additions to the portfolio on the 30th. But that was all hit at MSRP. So I have 1,300 in the portfolio that was paid for at MSRP, but it was not $1,300 of product at MSRP. But yeah, dude, I mean, I don't know. If you can get cases for like, if they do $1,000 cases on eBay, I'll probably go in on those. Okay, who else? Who else? Trying to think for redraft this weekend, who are going to be the big ticket items? Again, for me, make no mistake, fellas, for me, Wandale Robinson is a big ticket item this weekend. I am excited to draft Wandale Robinson if he dips off a concussion. Um, no one really had weird news. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, people are making some interesting commentary about his splits when the offense is top 15 versus when it's not, and thinking it won't be top 15 this year. I don't really. I don't think I'm worried about it, but I've seen some really bearish takes on Jonathan Taylor, which is interesting. Um, yes, I know, Wandale. I know. I'm going to be the goofiest Wandale bull in the world. I'm an actual Wandale bull. As in, like, I'm excited at the idea of getting Wandale Robinson late. It's so embarrassing, but I am, dude. 140 targets in back-to-back years. I like he's a big part of my plans this year. So because like I have this little pocket that I'm conceptualizing in like the ninth round, 10th round of like Wandale, Casey Concepcion, and Golden. And Stribling is back there too, right? I really like that pocket late. And to me, it gives me the flexibility to like, you hammer wide receiver early, but you can forget about it for those 3 or 4 rounds before and really focus on your onesies, your running backs that I like in there. Yes, he is part of that. Dude, you were so scared of Cam Ward. No, Stribling's up at round 7. He is not up at round 7. There's no way that Stribling climbed to round 7. Let's check fan. This is composite ADP. This is a little wonky. It's not the best metric. It's just the best that we have right now. It does weight Yahoo ADP pretty heavily, actually. Really, the best thing to do is probably just to check Yahoo. No, it's not my password there. That's funny. It just showed my password. Okay, we're gonna figure this out. Oh, wait. There we go. It's funny. I totally have to. I was doing mocks today, and the Stribling window is done. Really? The Stribling window is just closed. That's what happened. Okay, we'll do Bucky Irving. I think the summer has aged tremendously for Bucky Irving. With the news that they are looking at dropping uh, Sean Tucker, I have just been over the moon with Bucky. Yeah, unless you want to keep chasing it up the board. No, I don't want to keep chasing. I don't want to keep chasing. I'm just taking my Shahid in the fifth. Yeah, yeah, that's fine. Okay, this thing, dude. The my Google has a different set of passwords than my Safari. That's really annoying, so I can't log into my account. We'll add some more Parker Washington to the pile. Bucky Irving, anchor. Jamar Smith, Parker Washington, Bowers. What a mess. What a mess of a start. That's okay. I'm just taking Shaheed in the 12th as my wide receiver 5. Yeah, so obviously I love Shaheed. I'm totally fine with that. I'm completely fine with if you want to take a stab on Naylor or Tucker. Trey Tucker or Jalen Naylor is your wide receiver 5. They're going to be free. I think someone's catching balls in Oakland. Everyone's acting like no one's going to catch them there. I think someone catches passes there. Yeah, I'm not. It's not that I'm not worried about it. What I'm thinking is there are a few of those guys that are like after pick 100 at wide receiver that I think like could have a really good run out. And so like what I was thinking was like trade bait wise. And the three of them that I really have in mind right now. One, I actually love Casey Concepcion, which I know you're not on, Ted, right? I think he's going to lead the Browns in receptions this year. He's like a guy that I more view as like an eight to ninth round turn guy. Like I think he should be going right around pick 100, but he's not on Yahoo. He's going later. And then Wandale goes 10 to 20 picks later. Golden goes 10 to 20 picks later. Those are all guys that like I think are going to be great as your wide receiver five because you throw them into a trade, you tack them on, and you can get someone else. If you're just going freebie wide receiver five, Shaheed is absolutely one of my favorites you could possibly do. But I still think Naylor is the perfect wide receiver for what Coach Kubiak wants to do. And then Trey Tucker has gotten God. Look at that. Jalen Waddle, Mike Evans, Higgins, Walker, Barkley. If he didn't do Walker, I would love that start. Um, I still think Naylor is the perfect bet for what Kubiak wants to do. So that's a big one. But then Wandale, I think Wandale is going to lead the Titans in receptions this year too. I feel so good about Wandale Robinson this year, dude. Um, and I think because he's a meme, I think he's going to be there a lot. So I'm glad he only got knocked out. I'm glad he's going to play. I mean, I'm not glad he got knocked out. I hope he's okay, but I'm glad it wasn't like, knee injury or something. I think most players would probably rather have a concussion than a knee injury. Jacobs at 42 again, so we continue to get no discount on Jacobs. Washington over Burden. Yes, I prefer Washington over Burden by a good margin. We've actually seen an extended period of Washington as a high end wide receiver one. We have not seen that with Burden yet. This may end up being a Fernando Mendoza roster. This may be one where we try to get. We can come here and we can do Tucker Naylor at 142, 147, then do Mendoza at 171. So we can actually totally build out a nice Mendoza stacked up roster here. It should be kind of fun. Okay, we need a running back, but I don't want to take Brooks that low. Probably just going to do an unstacked Jaden Daniels. I don't like the Brooks price tag at all. The Brooks price tag is like a major issue for me now. It's flipped him into a full blown avoid for me. QJ had that nice bomb today, nice 60-yard pass. Chuba RB1 in Carolina, maybe. I think it's going to be a split, but I think it's going to be a split where like Chuba gets the goal line work and maybe in like full PPR, you end up getting a little bit more utility out of Brooks because I think he probably is the receiving back. But Brooks looked really shaky on blitz pickup and pass blocking like this week. That was not what you wanted to see if you're a Brooks backer. But either way, as things currently stand, there's a 40 pick difference in ADP between them. Okay, so DK Metcalf or QJ. I took DK Metcalf a few times this week, so we'll do a QJ here. Um, I like DK a little bit more in a vacuum, but QJ had that big pass. I wonder if we see his ADP rise up a little bit. I wonder if there's not the massive gap between Quentin Johnston and Lad McConkey that the market thinks there is. I think there is, but like there's a chance there's not. Goal line, early down, and pass down work. I don't know if he gets pass down work because Brooks is a really good receiver. Brooks has like a pretty high target share per route run in his very young career, but he's a bad pass blocker. So I don't know. And then Chuba is I believe he's 53rd out of 54th in pass receiving efficiency since 2024. He's either last or second to last in passing efficiency. So Chuba's very, very bad in receiving work, but he's very good as a pass blocker, I believe. Am I misremembering that? I thought I saw a little blurb on that. No, no. Either way, based on current ADP, I started out the summer hammering Brooks at like 100 to 110. I still took Brooks over Chuba when they were side by side, like in the 90s, and now I'm just off Brooks and I'll draft a bunch of Chuba instead. Happy to do it. Okay, would love Rico Dowdle, would love RJ Harvey, Jordan Mason, Chuba Hubbard, JCM. If we end up with two of those guys, I'll put Dobbins at the end of that tier. If we end up with two of those guys, I will be a happy camper here. They normally start to get hammered right about here. Normally I would take Gainwell too, but I don't want that with a Bucky roster. Dobbins top of that list, sir. I'm not a Dobbins guy. You know my thing. Way more likely to be productive in the beginning of the season than the end. I don't like drafting guys that are way more likely to be productive in the first 6 weeks than the last 6 weeks. He's in there though. He's in the tier. The problem with JCM is I was really high on JCM. Like I was prepared to take. I would have probably ended up with some free Tendies fantasy shares of JCM at like the 7-8 turn. I was prepared to chase him up pretty aggressively into like the mid 80s at one point this summer. And then dude, the O line, the stuff about the O line has been so bearish, so unbelievably bearish after the Tunsil injury. It's at some point, man, it's just too much. And that I certainly perceive that to be much more of a hit to Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt's tenability than White. White can get out of the backfield and receive on his own. JCM kind of needs some blocking ahead of him. So we do get Chuba Hubbard here, and I continue to take him at this cost. I'm a man of my word. I like him around pick 100. And look, the fact is, even though I came into this season preferring Brooks, even though I've gone head to head with Ted all summer about preferring Brooks, I still think Brooks is the better player when fully healthy and, when he gets going. He either isn't fully healthy or the 2 years off has it's showing on the field. He looks either rusty to me or not great. It's one of those two, right? Okay, so after I just trashed him in this build, though, we absolutely will do a J.K. Dobbins here. Okay, end up with a Chuba and Dobbins to rescue our hero Bucky build. Here we are through however many rounds that is. Jaden Daniels, Bucky Irving, Chuba Hubbard, J.K. Dobbins, Jamar Chase, Devonta. Oh my God. Did I skip a Jamar Chase Joe Burrow stack? I did, didn't I? Because I'm so not used to having Jamar Chase. I just realized I did that. I took Jaden Daniels over Joe Burrow. You know what? I still prefer Jaden Daniels in a vacuum, but that was stupid. Oh, man. Such a fucking embarrassment. That's why my parents aren't proud of me. Very Ted-coded RB room. Yeah, certainly. I think we've both warmed up pretty hard on Bucky here lately. I mean, I do love Bucky Irving. Ted, a pretty legendary story on our channel. Ted traded ETN when he took him in the 3rd round for Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving was undrafted, except by me. I did have some round 15 Bucky Irving, but he was undrafted his breakout year, and Ted traded top 30 drafted Travis Etienne for Bucky Irving. I want to say in like week 5 or 6. It was pretty early in the year that Ted pulled the ripcord on that. Was absolutely correct to do so. That was when Etienne totally shit the bed. So he does get credit as being a more serious Bucky Irving backer than I am. Certainly being first to market there. Not only that, I got the draft capital too, yeah. I think we're going to try to do a Fernando Mendoza room with Jaden Daniels. I'm so pissed I didn't just take Burrow there. That's so stupid of me to not. I don't know what I was doing. To do a Fernando Mendoza room, I want to totally deck out. I want to go Jalen Naylor at pick 42, Trey Tucker at pick 47, and then Mendoza at 71. Here we can look at like a Terrence Ferguson or a Barner to go with Bowers. So that leaves us with 2 floating spots. We have 4 receivers I'd like. So I'd like to split this between receiver and running back here. Stribling is just off and running high. Yeah, he's at 104. He's nowhere near here. Casey Concepcion, I was getting here a lot this summer. He's gone. Romeo Dobbs is creeping up, which he should be too. Maybe we do get a little Wan'Dale Robinson falling. Rashad White would be good as a stack with Jaden Daniels. got a third round pick and sent like a 12th rounder. It set me up for like the next 2 years. Oh, right, because you got. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, you got to keep Bucky, right? Also got another trade done in the keeper league. Sent one of the fifth rounders I got for JSN for Laporta. That's a little pricey for Laporta, but I get it. Okay, we're going to take a late Wandale Robinson here. Probably a little bit concerned about his concussion. I get it. Got him locked up at an 11th round price tag for the next 2 years. Yeah, that's what it is. Very good. It's just about locking up the cheap keeper price. Oh, because you traded, right. Okay, so I don't play keeper, right? So I don't know how that works. Okay. So you traded the 5th round price tag for Laporta, but you get the 11th round keeper value next season. Yes, that's tremendous. That I totally understand. Totally different layer of strategy that does not exist in my fantasy world. But yeah, that's great. And yeah, I still have Bucky. He's my keeper this year too. Only cost me a ninth. Yeah, that's tremendous. Okay, so we get kind of lucky here. I will take a Rashad White stack with Jane. I can't believe I'm such an idiot. I have Devonta Smith and Jamar Chase, and I took Jaden Daniels over Burrow and Hurts. I just wasn't thinking. I guess I don't know. It's late. I drove 7 hours and 100 degrees. My brain's baked. It is what it is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, that's a sweet deal. Never mind. That's a good price. I don't know, dude. I think Laporta's live to be a tight end one this year, like the tight end one this year. He's already has a tight end one finish. I continue to. I have Goff 8 spots ahead of ECR in my QB rankings. I think Goff is a QB one this year. So if I think that, I have to be really high on who I believe is going to be the second leading receiver on the team. I don't think it's Jamison Williams. I think it's Sam Laporta. Um, Jamison Williams was not able to ascend past a wide receiver three with Sam Laporta healthy last year. I understand people interpret that differently. They believe that it was Dan Campbell said he wants to center the offense around JMO Williams, and that's what did it, and that's a perfectly reasonable way to frame it. I think it's more that Sam Laporta is a really, really elite target earner and a really elite weapon. And I think in Petzig's system, he's going to go off this year. So, and especially now with Tucker Kraft gets Jonnu Smith in Green Bay. After they said they're like slowing him into the year, at that point, I think I probably do prefer Laporta to Tucker Kraft straight up. That was not how I had it. So basically, my moves this offseason culminated in JSN, 1 4th round pick, 1 7th round pick for Laporta, and a third and a 12th. Yeah, dude, that keeper is a whole different ballgame. All right, so what do we think? I mean, I think I kind of want to just try to min max this roster, especially because I'm going to have to reach on Naylor and Trey Tucker here. And just so I kind of want the full blown Raiders coded roster because I don't get a lot of Brock Bowers. So I'm thinking, yeah, Naylor, Trey Tucker, Mendoza at 71. And that's it, though. Not a second quarterback. He'll be my second quarterback behind Daniels. Just make the bet that Daniels can be really effective. We have basically a naked Daniels. He's stacked with White, but I don't know. I'm completely okay with a naked Daniels, I think. Okay, well, not if Debo Samuel falls back, though, by the way. Antonio Williams, round 18. Actually, yeah, I might. I like Antonio Williams, dude. I think he's an interesting looking player. Um, this would be a pretty big fall over a round slide for Debo. I don't know if Debo slides around. I might just be taking the good ADP value on him here in 2 picks. Let's see. I still do think he has a much better season probably than Naylor and Tucker. Okay. Yep, we're gonna go Debo there. That's over a round discount on him. That's cool. Pick a Raiders guy here. I mean, I just did Naylor and I just talked up Naylor. I think Naylor is the volume guy. I think Tucker's going to have some big spike weeks though, and maybe for like this roster you go with a Tucker because like when he booms it'll really boom as opposed to consistent volume. Okay, well Tucker goes there. Okay, so it's Naylor. Choice was made for us. That's okay. And if Naylor goes, we'll go Tank Bigsby. I would do Jonah Coleman there. I don't really like Jonah Coleman with J.K. Dobbins, although you could argue you're just sort of locking down the early down work for the Broncos. Okay. Naylor Bowers. Let's get our boy. Get I forget what did someone call him? A Hispanic Jameis Winston. Or someone said he's like a dog that got granted a wish to be human. He's like a golden retriever that was granted a wish to be a no, that was Puka. That was Puka someone said that about. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I love Mendoza. This guy's not going another quarterback because he's a jackass that stacked four of them. This guy has Dart and Jackson. He's probably not going Mendoza there. I'd be surprised if he does. Any Raiders? Oh, he's got Trey Tucker. Yeah, all right. So we'll go 166 Mendoza. Liam Murphy was ranting on Twitter about how much he loves Jake Ferguson. It always makes me nervous when someone I really respect does not like or really disagrees with me on something. I do not draft any Jake Ferguson. I just don't think he's very good with Pickens and Lamb on the field healthy. Liam has some really bad takes. I mean, I don't. This is my first year really following him. Like, I'd have to see what his, I'm going to see what his process yields as far as just how he does as he goes through the year. Um, like pulling Washington over Burden, JMO, etc. Yeah, I mean, well, hey man, I'll own up to that bad take too. I'm with him on that. I would not care, by the way. Like, I would not judge someone. I just don't think you have to do this. I would not judge someone that took Washington, like if someone took Washington next to Igbuka and Lad McConkey, I wouldn't judge them for it. I'd be like, yeah, man, I get it. So, I don't know. But yes, he is a huge Washington guy. Who are his big my guys? I mean, he had Jeremiah Love at 14th overall. He's had Jeremiah Love at 14th overall all summer. I don't know who. He's big on Gainwell. I like that one. Very big on Gainwell. He's a huge RJ Harvey guy. Drafts a ton of RJ Harvey. 5'11" little guy with chop wood and carry water forearm tats. Who? Who? Oh, is that Parker Washington? Kyler Murray size big quads. Is that Parker Washington has a chop? What does he have? Okay, we're gonna go Fernando Mendoza early because that guy has Trey Tucker. Okay, Fernando Mendoza completes our double stack with Jalen Naylor, Brock Bowers here. We're gonna do that. We're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna leave it a Jaden Daniels, Fernando Mendoza roster. Probably go with a favorite of mine down here, Dylan Sampson. I love Dylan Sampson this year. Go look at the Jags uniform reveal. Yeah, the Jags uniform reveal where they put Parker Washington front and center. I believe they put him in front of Trevor Lawrence. Oh man, there goes Dylan Sampson. Rip. Okay, it's probably too early for this, but I don't really care. What are we at, like 171? We'll do Braylon Allen back here. I love Braylon Allen, dude. He wasn't? Let's see. Yes, he isn't that Trevor Lawrence, Theodore? That's Trevor. Strange. I don't know. That's their middle linebacker. I forget his name right. Yeah, there's Trevor. Put him in the corner. Although to be fair, they put Brenton Strange in front of Trevor Lawrence too. Like I don't know if we're using that as a rankings thing. I don't know if Brenton Strange is more front and center to the organization than Trevor Lawrence. I don't know. Like, dude, I love it. We're gonna see we're gonna see what happens. Either the Washington Bulls are going to be really embarrassed, or the Washington Bears are going to be really embarrassed. But one side's learning a hard lesson this summer. I've certainly picked my side of the war, but I'm also going to draft some Brian Thomas Jr. Like I think they can support two wide receivers. I'm not an either or kind of guy on that. Oh, I guess now that Jonnu Smith is cleared, Greg Dulcich feels a little bit safer in terms of volume, right? I don't really want to go with a third tight end with Brock Bowers. I feel like that's kind of like one of the points of drafting Brock Bowers. You just don't have to do that. Maybe we'll throw like a super high upside handcuff here and Kalen Black, or is it Emmett Johnson? Emmett Johnson, yeah. Yeah, see. Flock said today was a bad day for Kraft because they went and got Jonnu Smith, lol. I don't. What did they sign him for? Jonnu Smith taking snaps at running back. That's actually a great clip. Oh my god. I love Jonnu Smith, dude. I don't know. I think he's fun. 47% in slot. So my problem with Jonnu Smith, dude, is he's a pretty good slot receiver. If you remember, like he was in Miami. He was doing a lot of around the formation stuff. Um, how much does that bother me for Kraft? I think the only real change it makes for me for Kraft is I would prefer Laporta to him, right? I think that's like the only big move in my head that creates. Is that fair? Is that unfair to say like it's just because I already thought Kraft and Laporta were really close. Laporta got a thigh bruise, but other than that, he's not injured. So it's like I kind of just feel like maybe I'll just go with the guy who didn't just have another tight end sign, who isn't coming off an ACL, who I like just as much. I prefer the offense there. Um, no, they took off his snap limits. Okay, so they said he's not snap. They took him off, or he said they took him off. Hmm. Straight from Kraft. Hmm. Okay, Gunnar Helm or Pat Fryermuth? Still like some Gunnar Helm every now and again. They designed some cool plays to him. I feel like Dayball likes using tight end too. He's been pretty good with it, obviously, in his career. Full go by week one. I'm not doing the rep count stuff anymore. Hmm. That's hard. That's actually a really important thing to decide, though. Because he's going in a range where you can still get some pretty banging receivers. Like dude, Mike. You have Mike Evans, Roma Dunze, Parker Washington, which I know you don't like Parker Washington, so that's not a big decision for you. But like, Roma Dunze, Christian Watson, Mike Evans, DJ Moore might be back there. Parker Washington again for me. That's a really big decision. I think it's just going to come down to who's on the board for him. I think I still do prefer Laporta now because of that. Does John is John Smith really bad for? I don't know, dude. John Smith's a pretty good target earner. You're kind of treating that like that's like a nothing signing. I don't think it's a nothing signing. Is it like a big something signing? You know, I don't know about that. But John Smith has been pretty good the last couple of years. Yeah, I think it was nothing. Yeah. He also had options of where to sign, like Miami wanted to get him. You wonder what they did to get him there? You know what else I wonder? Do you think that's bearish at all for Jaden Reed? Do you think Jaden Reed comes off the field more for two tight end sets? Like, to me, I think that might be the most rational thing to reflect on and all that, right? Is if they get Jonnu Smith and they want to run more, because Jonnu Smith can also play fullback, right? He played a lot of fullback. No, you don't think it's bearish for Reed. You just don't think it matters. I don't know. What did they sign him for? Do you think they what? You think they just signed him like for fun? Doesn't seem like something they would do. Okay, just to have like a second Jaden stack outside of White. Yeah, Jonnu. No, I think Jonnu stinks. Um, I don't think Jonnu Smith stinks. Theodore in the chat thinks Jonnu Smith stinks. Yeah, Ted is not. I think Jonnu Smith's pretty. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, so he barely got any reps last year after his one little breakout year. To me, it's I don't know if it's that he stinks. It's more that like, or I don't know if it's that like I'm saying, well, he's so good that he's gonna soak up volume there all of a sudden. It's not that. It's more like if he forces more, 12 personnel or even like I formation stuff where he is the fullback lead blocking. He's a very versatile player, and to me, that would mean less Jaden Reed on the field because Jaden Reed's only taken like 11 career snaps and three wide receiver sets. I don't know. Okay, so I kind of messed up my quarterback thing here. That was so stupid. We're sitting here talking, we're getting all into it. I had stacks for Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts, and I took Jaden Daniels instead, who's like in this pretty sketchy situations. I don't know. It's embarrassing, but it's okay. It happens. Jamar Chase, Brock Bowers, Devonta Smith, Bucky Irving, Parker Washington, Jaden Daniels, Quentin Johnston, Hubbard, Dobbins, Robinson, White, Samuel, Naylor, Fernando Mendoza, Allen, Johnson, Helm, Williams. We have two left in the tank, but we'll save those for tomorrow. That was just a quick one. Again, drove all day, wanted to blow off some steam. Very stressful day. It's never fun spending. I've done 1,000 miles of driving in the last 2 days. It's just never good doing that. So glad to be done. Thank you for those of you that hung out and asked questions. As always, shout out to Free Tendies co-owner Ted, who was hanging out all night in the chat and disagrees with all my takes, but that's okay. That's okay. We will be drafting head to head this weekend. We will have the people in the Discord, the people in our Free Tendies community vote on who beat who. It should be really fun. So yeah, like I said, guys, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're so inclined. We will be back tomorrow, probably 5 to 7 o'clock. Same format, and then this weekend we have 3 drafts Saturday, 4 drafts Sunday. Looking forward to it. We will see you guys then. Thank you.